Sharks, what's up? I'm going to try and make this quicker than the previous takes. A lot of stuff coming up with the NBA season on the horizon. In Top Shot Sharkland, 2 more updates to come. I'm working on that. Gary Harris giveaway is on Twitter at Top Shot Shark. If you want to go ahead and get in that and you haven't already, go ahead and get in there. That'll run for about a week. Wanted to get into this because obviously we have some controversy. It needs to be said. Growth is a real thing. Growth is a real thing, and it has to happen. And it has to be methodical, it has to be planned, and then it has to be executed. And the table and the scenario has to be set up in order for it to happen. I know that the NFT world feels like magic fairy dust sometimes. I know that it feels like ETH just drops out of the sky sometimes, that it grows on trees. But it doesn't always. Right? It doesn't always. To build something real, you need real growth. I mean, speculation is fugazi. It's not financial advice, but it's speculation is it can be magical. It can feel just surreal, but not everything is, and businesses put in real work to get real growth. Right? Top Shot is one such example where it's logical and it needs to happen a certain way for it to be sustainable. And what we're seeing right now is backlash against that. And people who frankly do not understand that growth and supply are both faucets. This has been mentioned multiple times by Janie and Jacob. Growth and supply are supply and demand are two faucets that need to be turned on at the same time during the sports season, during September to February, when the three major sports are both operating. That is when things need to be at full blast, right? That is when you get the most return on your investment if you're dapper, if you're trying to use your marketing budget to get people in the door so that we can have growth, so we can have the growth we've all talked about, right? That is the best and pretty much only way to do it with any sort of sanity and effectiveness, right? She knows that. She said that even before she was GM. And now you guys are complaining about something that's important. Supply, right? I know we like to romanticize February 2021, but it wasn't affordable for me. I'm one of the top 1,000 collectors now, and I still wouldn't have gotten on Top Shot from what I saw in February and March 2021. I couldn't have done it. It was way too... The first time I looked at challenges, I was like, this is way too expensive. I can't do this. That was probably late April 2021. After so much value had fallen off, right? This is exactly what there was barely any supply in NBA in late February, 2021. There was barely enough in April 2021 when I joined, late April. There wasn't enough for everybody. That's why prices were so high. There just wasn't a lot of supply. It doesn't mean there was demand for the actual product. I've written about this. And now what we're seeing is people are saying, oh, you can't drop 2 W drops back to back like that. It was in the roadmap, all right? It was in the roadmap. It was in the roadmap at the beginning of the summer. Yeah, the cadence sucks, all right? The cadence and the timing suck. That's the easiest thing to say. Yes, I agree. The cadence and the timing suck. But it was in the roadmap. You're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't, because if you don't execute the thing that's in the roadmap, people get mad at you. And if you execute the thing in the roadmap during the W season when the focus is still on the W, and by the way, there should be another in her bag or in their bag equivalent coming up for the finals, right? And for the W playoffs, right? But for the time being, it's like you have this content with Sue Bird, you got to use it. You have to, Janie was in an impossible position. Either drop it and people get mad at you, or don't drop it and people get mad at you. It could have been sooner, but they're working on a lot of different things from the tech side, a lot of different things for the S4 roadmap. They're killing themselves, and I can't really expect anything more from what they've done. And I understand the people who understand that there isn't enough demand for the W, but then again, what that also means is that a lot of the people... Does AG hold any W moments? Does he? Does he care? Does he really have any stake in it? I understand what that does to WMGLE, but, a lot of the people complaining don't have either, aren't going to be in either draw. If there's not enough demand for W right now, that means that most of the people talking aren't interested and weren't interested in the first place. That means they're not the ones with the demand. That means they're not the ones who were affected. Some people are. I give them that. I understand that. But it's not everybody. It's not even the majority. It's very, very few people, you know. Most of the packs, they lowered the price. They came down $15 on the Sue Bird game recognized game. And there's barely any variety for the W. There's, 3 rare sets now. There's Run It Back 1, Run It Back 2008, and MG Elite. That's 3 rare sets throughout the entire W, and this is the W season. You want to wait 9 months to coordinate something with Sue Bird? I mean, it doesn't put a good taste in my mouth to have people thinking that athletes can just move their schedules around like that you can not focus on this now, that you cannot do this now. You know, I just, you know, you have contractual obligations with endorsers, and you have an obligation to W fans to release this content. I get that it's not ideal. It's not perfect. Everything isn't going to be, all right? It shouldn't really instill a lack of faith or confidence. It really shouldn't do that. What it should do is reinforce that we need supply to get demand. We need a floor to have a ceiling. If there is no floor, we don't have growth, right? Here's how it's going to work. The hierarchy of series is going to go like this. S1 at the top, S4, S2, and then S3 is the floor. S3 is going to be the floor. That's why they haven't released it, right? We know this. We have bought pretty affordably, but we're going to have both faucets on at the same time, supply and demand. And we need that, and we have needed that. And for the first time in 2 years, we're going to have both faucets on at the same time. For the first time, we actually have this ready. And now some of you, I'm tempted to feel like you guys don't understand the lessons of what we've learned. We need both. We need both. Or people aren't going to have good buying opportunities. I know. People are saying, what about my bags? My bags aren't in a great position either. But that's why we have to do what we have to do. That's why this has to happen now, during the W season, not so that it gets buried during the NBA season. Like, Janie, I hit up Janie, and I was like, listen, I would have stuck to my guns. I would have stuck to my guns and said, listen, it was on the roadmap. This has to happen now. Matt Shore already said, we need more W rares. This is happening. But she was like, I'm going to get yelled at either way. And I'm like, well, shoot, I guess when you put it that way, you better just apologize to the community for this happening this way. Honestly, I'm glad it happened this way. I know you aren't. I'm sorry for that, especially if you're a W collector. But I'm glad it happened this way, because big picture, we need to think big picture. We need to think big picture so that they can think big picture. We need to make this right with ourselves so that they can make this right for them. And I'm sorry to some of the other content creators who may not agree with this. I'm sorry for the content creators who... Yeah, there's been some interesting discussions. I'm getting live token notifications as we speak. But, yeah, no, this is not a lapse. This is not a forgetting moment. This is very much in line with what has to happen. This is not 2 back-to-back. We didn't have 2 rare back-to-back drops in Series 3 because we didn't have guaranteed rare drops. It is not a parallel. It is not a comparison I would make. You know, this is different. You know, and you know, I may have to start pointing fingers at Alan Falcon if there's an instincts problem, which, you know, at times their instincts have been bad, you know, but I don't think this is one of those instances. And in order to have growth, you need to supply and demand, because, as I said in the fandom base set proposal, you know, no business ever grew their business by saying we're going to have less supply. You know, FedEx is not going to move more packages if they have less planes. They got to pay for things in order to get demand, to get the kind of business model that's sustainable. It's complicated. It sucks. I know. It doesn't work for everybody. It's not going to be ideal all the time. But this is what there is, and we are headed up to something so big, I would hate for a last-minute FUD push to ruin what we have in store, what we really realistically have right at our grasp. It's almost here. It is almost here. Everything they've talked about since 2021 is almost here. It is already. The question is, are we going to accept it when it's here? Are we ready for it? Are we ready spiritually to accept, you know, the future of fandom, the real thing? We might actually have it. Is the demand going to land? We hope so. But in the meantime, this is what's it. This is what's coming. It's almost here. And I would hate for us to start trying to mess it up just by not having perspective here. I'm not saying don't look out for your best interests, but there are other interests to consider. And, mine were, if everything was expensive, I wouldn't do it. There'd be no one to come because people have real dollars that they need to spend. S3 is going to be the floor. S2 is going to be right above it. S4 is going to be significantly higher than S2, but probably not as valuable as S1. And then S1 is going to be the OG. It's going to be the top. It's going to be the creme de la creme, right? And we're going to have access to all 4 of those series at the same time. It's going to be stacked in that way and prioritized. There's going to be opportunities for all 4 of those things. We're going to get to earn through packs. We're going to get to earn through flow. We're going to get to earn through team captain communities. We're going to get to earn through locked sets. We're going to get to earn through flash challenges. We're going to get to earn through set challenges. It's going to be all right.